Welcome back to A Good Pour. I'm Kathryn Good, host of this podcast, A Good Pour, conversations about good work in our community, marketing, and beyond. Today, we are joined by Becca Fitts, founder of Bit of Heaven Catering here in Gallatin. Welcome, Becca.
Hi, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Great. We have interacted for a while now. I can't remember if we met at the gym first or in the community first,
Maybe.
both all at the same time.
We started at the gym and then
in
the community.
I just saw you at all of the events I love. And so we also worked out at Organic Fitness together for a long time. And I love seeing you at community events. You always have a smile on your face. You always cook excellent food. So I just would love to hear. I actually haven't heard your kind of founding story of your business. So I would love to hear it and share the good work you're doing in this community.
Well, thank you. I'm excited to be here and share about it. So actually, the founder of Bit of Heaven was actually my mom. So Gallatin. So she originally started the business in around 2005. And we always were a big family. I'm the oldest of four, and we all were very sports oriented, and our house was the house that the whole team came to all the time. So she was always cooking for large amounts of people, and just we come from a long line of women who love Southern hospitality, and feeding is the way to your heart by us. And so my mom was kind of in a transition, and everyone was like, why don't you start catering? Like, why don't you know? And so she slowly started doing it. And she was at that time in the West Nashville area, and she did a lot of corporate catering. That was kind of her focus then. And so she did that for several years. And then in 2008, there's a big crash. And so pharmaceutical reps, financial reps, a lot of her big clients were no longer doing anything. And so at the same time, my grandfather got really sick. And so she ended up kind of shutting everything down and moving to Memphis and taking care of him. And then came back several years later and kind of came back to the Gallatin area. And started kind of slowly doing just some small things. And in 2014 is when I came on board. I was in the corporate restaurant world. I was a general manager, area training manager, did all the things, and did that for a really long time. And
Nashville or
all over kind of the Middle Tennessee market. I was with Brinker International, with Chili's, and so I was kind of the fixture, the cleaner upper, and so I'd get sent to different locations. But I was in Gallatin, Hendersonville for a really long time, and so that's kind of always been my community, and where I've just grown to love the people there. And we have, my husband and I have 3 children, and so at the time they were pretty young, and but starting kind of older elementary school, and I was working nights and weekends and all the time. And I told my husband one day, I had just gotten just so tired and over it. And I was like, what's the point in working all these hours and making good money if I'm never home, if I never see the kids, I never see you guys, I never get to do anything with it.
Right.
And so we started praying about it, and he was like, what do you want to do? I was like, I don't know. I love feeding people. I love helping with events and stuff. And at the time I would help my mom when I could. But my corporate schedule was pretty demanding. And so I named off all these things, and he looked at me and he was like, that's like what you could do in the catering and event world, right? And so we prayed about it, and we took a big leap of faith, and just, so at the time, that's kind of when we transitioned, and I really took over ownership of the catering company. And so my mom, we still do it all together, and she loves doing all the cooking, and that's what she's very passionate about. So she does a lot of the back of the house, kind of behind the scenes kind of work. And
so would I know her if I saw her?
You should probably. I think you'd recognize her.
Okay.
So she doesn't go out and do events as much, but we told her this year we're pulling her back out to the faces in 2024. But so I really credit her to starting that. And then once I came on board and we kind of transitioned roles, really focused more in the Sumner County area. And so growing Gallatin, because that's where a lot of people who knew I was doing that were from this area. And so since I'd already kind of built a community with that, it was a pretty ezy transition. And so
so you've really grown right along with Gallatin.
Yes. So we so we've been here, and then in 2018, really it was more like 20, I guess it was 2020 when we started the Gathering place. We opened the our venue that we have, and because it was right before COVID, and then I guess it was like probably towards the end of 2019, and then COVID came, so that put a little damper on that for a little while. But
yeah, I forgot about that space too.
Now,
you have that too, yeah.
So
love that space.
So we're excited to share it, and we love doing all kinds of events and things. So
do you get into Nashville for events?
Yes. So we still go. We go all over Middle Tennessee. We go to venues all over and different things. So we don't mind to travel, but I do always love when I can stay here and stay local. And this area has grown so much that, I'm like, we don't really have to go to Nashville to do things. But we enjoy.
So what are the busy, holidays? What else are kind of your busy seasons?
So we still work a lot of nights and weekends, but the difference is when you own the business, you can choose. And so I was able to, my kids are older now, but when, was able to say, you know what, I'm going to take 2 hours and go and do this for them, and then can come back and work or do whatever I need to do. And so the seasons kind of change right now. January, February, a little bit slower, and which is a nice reprieve coming out of the last quarter of the year is usually our by far our busiest, and December is crazy. And so I kind of tell my family, like at Thanksgiving, I'm like, okay, I'll see you in Christmas. So, but and they're good. They're really great. My kids will work with me some, and my husband does. If I say I really need you, he'll come and do whatever. But he's kind of the behind the scenes, and he's always fixing our catering van, or just shows up to do. I'll mention something that needs to be done, and I'll like, oh, you're here, you're fixing that, thanks. And so he likes to be the behind the scenes kind of.
Yeah, it's fun to see your kids especially Haley. I feel like I see Haley the most. So.
Yes, she enjoys doing it now. Now she is got a big girl job, so she doesn't get to do it as much, and so she works for Aspen Dental now.
Okay,
so
good for her.
So she loves it. She's really enjoying it. But
that season for her, then it's time to
fly
her wings a little bit.
I know.
Well, tell me what does good work mean to you?
Giving back to the community and being involved in the community, and just being able to help people when they need it, to provide for us, just providing a hot meal when it's something that, in a time that someone might need that. We do a lot. So I actually have always been very passionate about athletes in the community, especially, my kids played sports, and just being part of their sports teams. My husband and I coached for a long time. And then several years back, I partnered up with FCA, so Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And so I actually am the vice chair on their Northern Middle Tennessee board. And so that has been a great partnership. We do a lot through that. I've been able to partner with lots of teams. We feed the Gallatin High School football team. I think this was our 7th or 8th season, their pregame meals every Friday. And so that's one of our favorite things that we get to do. We partner with local churches, and different churches will sponsor each meal, and then we prepare it, and then we go in and we serve it. And so sometimes some of the churches will come and help us serve.
So high protein, I'm guessing.
Yeah. I have learned that high school football boys will really eat anything that you bring and eat all of it. So they just keep eating until there's not any more food. But that's been a really fun thing. We enjoy seeing, you really get to watch them kind of grow. And so every year as the seniors graduate, I'm like, I've had these guys for 3 or 4 years. And so it's just fun to see. And then I see them in the community. We've had Mom's had some of the football players come up. She'll see her at the gas station and come up and pump her gas for her. They're like, hey, you feed us. So it's just a really great way to be. And then as my kids were, my daughter cheered all through school, and my son played football. So just being around the kids that, that they're around. And we've been told multiple times, which breaks my heart, and that, that's the best meal that some of them get the whole week. And so, which to me, for a long time, I was like, it's just a meal, but it's so much more to so many people.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, you're forming community, they're making relationships, it's gathering around a table, which is always important
Yes.
in any group. So that's awesome. I didn't know you did that.
yeah. So we, and we partner with a lot of other, we've recently started working with JPM, Jesus Provision Ministries. So they are actually out of Mount Juliet, and they cater to the homeless in Nashville. And so we got to, we've been able to donate some food to them several times. And we absolutely hate wasting food. So if there's anything left, it's going to go to somebody.
Yeah.
We're going to feed somebody. And so they are just an amazing organization. They, every Sunday, they go down and they provide a meal. They set it by the War Memorial, and they provide a meal. They do a church service. And so we got to go down and be part of that. And it was just really, really a really humbling and amazing experience.
Yeah.
And so that's definitely something that we want to kind of be able to do more of this year in 2024. But
so one thing I notice about you and your crew is they're consistent. I see the same faces and they're happy. How do you do good work kind of within your team to make sure people feel valued and you want them there? Because they clearly enjoy their job. So
right.
let's talk to me a little bit about that community that you try to foster there.
So we, I feel like I took a lot of this from my corporate background, but I did a lot of training and did some HR. And so we were always very focused on the people. And that was one big thing that I took away, that, people don't work for a company, they work for a person. And so, and I've been really blessed to always have really great people. That people ask me that all the time. A girl who has just been working for a few months that I met in December, she worked a lot of events, and she said, she's like, how do you staff? Because she worked for another catering company years ago, and she was like, we could never get people to work. And I was like, I'm really blessed to have people who have been with us for a long time. And several of them came from restaurant. Kelly, who works with us, we've been friends for 16 years, and but we met at Chili's, and then I left and went to a different restaurant, and she followed me there. And then I said, we laugh all the time. She's like, you can't get rid of me and I can't get rid of you. So, but, we try really hard to make sure that our employees know that they're appreciated and that we value them, and, ask their opinion on things. What are ways that we can improve on certain things, or, and just trying to make an environment where you can, say how you feel and what's going on. And, if you were at the kitchen with us, you would laugh a lot. You probably cry a lot, and you'd probably be like, oh my gosh, did they really say that? Because we say, there's a lot of sarcasm, but we're also each other's like biggest fans and biggest supporters. And, we can come in and, we'll start the day with prayer, not every day, but, or if something's going on, we'll just all stop and, have a moment to pray over it, or just, what's going on? How can we help? And so we're really a family, as much as anything. And so,
yeah, I often say, you can have the best marketing, you can have the best product, the best whatever. But if you treat people poorly, if you have bad customer service, then it really doesn't matter. So that's, and especially in the hospitality, food and beverage. I mean, it is so quick to have a bad interaction with someone on your team.
Yes.
And then that has damaged your reputation. So I think a lot of your team, they just always are smiling and how can I help, and go the extra mile from someone who's going through the line or being served. So I do appreciate that about y'all.
We strive really hard. We like to say that, every caterer for the most part should have good food, because that's what you do. But we really strive to take it to the next level and have excellent service, because people are going to come back for that. And they're going to, we want you to know that when you come to an event that we're doing, whether it's at our venue or we're out somewhere, that we're going to give you everything we have, and we're going to go above and beyond. And sometimes we've even had people say, like, you don't charge enough because you do all these extra things, but that's just part of what we do. And I'm like, I can't give you less service, because I didn't charge you more. And so that's just, and I can honestly say that everybody on our team truly cares about Bit of Heaven like it's it's theirs. And that's a really rare thing to find. Like, I know that they're going to make the decision that they think is best for the business every time, regardless of what it is.
So this year, during this podcast, I want to talk to businesses about how they're telling people about good work. Sometimes my favorite people, the best people, just people that are doing good work, sometimes we struggle to tell other people about it. We feel like we should be humble, and we should. But I also think marketing and telling others about the good work you're doing is a way to shine our light. It's a way to tell our story, and it's honestly to tell about the goodness that's going on in our life and give glory to God. So I know it can be a struggle, and I really think I want to dive into this with businesses about how we do this. But can you think of ways that you tell others about the good work that Better Heaven does?
I'm very much in the category of I don't like to, I don't, and I think too, just for a long time, it's been, you don't want to, don't brag about yourself, don't, and so, and two, I always feel like a lot of the things that we do, or, we want to bless someone with this, and it's not something that we want to brag about, because you don't want to, you're doing it because you feel like the Lord led you to do that, or because, just because. And so we don't talk about that a lot. And so I do think, like, I've heard you speak several times and been an encouragement to, to tell your good story, to tell the things that are going on, because you never know when a part of your story is really going to help someone else. And so, so as far as sharing our good work and our good story, I would say we probably don't really do a lot to do that through the business, but word of mouth for us, whether it's marketing for the business or anything, has really been our biggest advocate. And so through doing a lot of the feeding the teams, or I love just being able to, coaches will call me, hey, can you provide a meal for, for this game, or we've got an away game, or and anytime that we see, almost anytime I see that on Facebook or Instagram, someone asking for that, I'm like, hey, I can do a meal for 20 people. And just but really engaging with the coaches as well has been a great way. And then from that, that's just a big word of mouth. And so then when they do have an event or something that they want to, that they need, then we're who they're going to think about and who they're going to call to, which is not why we do it, but it's also a great, it's a great business.
It's a multiplication of that.
Yes, it is.
For sure.
And so, so we don't do a lot of sharing about it, but I do try to have, a lot of organizations will post and share and different things with us, just thanking for different things that we do. So I'm like, it's okay to have that and to do that. And to, I think that's something that the Lord's really working on me is, you've got a story to tell, and it's okay to tell it and to share and
well,
talk about it.
You're here. I told you that this year has snuck up on me, and
yes.
I was like, oh, we have not set our guest for this first filming. And I asked you on Monday, and we're filming on Thursday. And I could tell a little hesitation, but you had team members that are like, oh, no, you need to do this. And so you're here. So that's part of telling your story. So I'm glad you're here. And I would also say, a lot of the marketing we do is through action and consistently treating others well. And you guys do that for sure. So while it may not be telling of the good work you do in charity and feeding people and that sort of thing, you can tell that there's good work going on. And I want people to understand that too. So, so last question is, what's something just good that's going on that you're doing in your life for your either personal or business that you feel like is good? It helps you do other good things.
So I really 2023, I'll say, was a journey year for me, a year where kind of the end of 2022, my oldest two girls are away at school, and our son is still at home, but he's kind of very quiet and does his own thing. And so the house got real empty and real quiet. And I was kind of at a point where I was like, who am I and what am I doing? And I've spent, the last 20 plus years, when I was young, taking care of my family. And then, I had Haley at 19. So right away I was, taking care of her and then our others, and Jacob and I got married. And so it was just really everybody. I took care of everybody else and did everything for everybody else for a really long time. And, when it got quiet and still, and everyone was kind of, and I'm like, who am I? What am I doing? And I don't even know who that is. And so, so last year I really focused on self-care, which I laugh at my sister. I'm always messing with her. I'm like, do you need to go take some self-care time? And so, but it's a really important thing that we don't, I think, as women and mothers and, women in the corporate or just business world, it's got to be go, go, go. And what do we need to do next? And who do we need to do this for? And we don't stop and take care of ourselves. And so for me, last year was really a journey of mental and spiritual and just physical, just wellness and focusing on those things. And one of the biggest things, I lost 50 pounds, which was very exciting. But I think someone was like, how did you do it? What did you do? And so really consistency for me was a big thing. But I started seeing a counselor, and I was like, you know what? The biggest weight that was lifted from me was that mental weight, and just walking through things I didn't even realize were things that I was, carrying or had carried for a long time, and just a lot of burdens that we carry that aren't ours to carry, and we don't need to carry anymore. And so just working on my mental health, and then really teach a Bible study class twice a year with a lady at church, and I really enjoyed that. But really just digging deep into His Word and like, Lord, what do you have for me? And what does that look like in this season? Because it's changed. It's not what it was before. And so, and then the physical part, really focusing on being consistent, working out, but not being crazy about it. Like I think I learned a lot last year how to show myself some grace, and that was something that I show other people grace a lot, but we don't show ourselves grace. Yep. And so if I missed a workout or was planning on going, then I'm like, it's okay. Doing anything is more than I was doing. And so, and then a little shout out to my sister, Perfect Portions, meal prep. So really, really dove in with her on that. And, being consistent with your food was a bit. And so really just in all aspects, I feel so much better. And that has made a huge impact at home with my family, because when you take care of yourself, you can take care of others. And so you hear all the time, you can't pour from an empty cup. And for a long time, that's what I was doing. And so I think also with business that, you get a lot of clarity, and I just feel like I can do, I'm like, you know what, I can do these things. And so it just helps, I think, open up some new avenues and different things, gives you, we've been able to just change some things and take some different aspects and be able to just kind of step back and look at it as a whole and like, okay, what can we do better? How can we improve on this? And so, but that had to start with me first as, the leader and the owner. And so that was a big thing, and something that it was very uncomfortable for a long time, because putting myself first. And my counselor earlier, she's like, you don't have to put yourself first. You just have to put yourself equal with everyone else
somewhere. Yes.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? That's a really good visual for me. And so in doing all that, I feel like it's really just improved a lot of areas of.
Well, good.
So I'm proud of encouragement to someone else, because it's a hard step to take, and then it's a constant journey. Like, it's not going to stop this year. There's always something to work on.
But it sounds like 2023 will be a transformative year, and will stand out in your mind.
Definitely was. So
I love that you said you can't pour with an empty cup. That's one of the things, the idea of a good pour is that, we're so full, things are so good that we can pour out to others, and how we do that. So you've been doing that, but a healthy Becca has even more opportunity to do that. So I'm grateful for that. Well, thank you for joining us today.
Well,
I look forward to seeing you around the community. As always, I love it when I walk into an event and y'all are catering, because I get hugs from several people, and just appreciate you being here. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you for having me.